Hi everyone. I think the live stream is now active, which is really awesome. Yeah, we're live. This is great. So, apologies for the delay. Now we are live, and I'm really excited to be talking to all of you. Tonight I have my tarot cards out. I'm here to do readings. I see that the chat is up, so if you have any readings, go ahead and feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll get to them. So I thought we'd start the live reading with an awesome fairy tale from one of my favorite books, Irish Fairy Tales and Folklore. And this is just to kind of wait while questions come in. And there's a story that I really like that's a little bit dark, but I think has a great message. So I'm going to read for you Pat Diver's Ordeal. Pat Diver, the tinkerer, was a man well accustomed to a wandering life, and to strange shelters. He had shared the beggar's blanket in smoky cabins. He had crouched behind the still, in many a nook and corner, where Porton was made on Weil and Ishwa mountains. He had ever slept upon the bare heather, or in the ditch, with no roof over him but the vault of heaven. Yet were all his nights of adventure tame and commonplace, when compared with one especial night. Again, I'm just going to keep kind of checking the chat while you guys tune in. This is really exciting. Again, welcome to the Psychic Lumina YouTube channel. Really excited for all of you to be here. Hey guys, so again, we're live on the Psychic Lumina YouTube channel. I'm here tonight to answer questions you may have and tap into the tarot deck for you. Thanks for joining. I thought I'd get things started again by reading from the Book of Fairy Tales. So another thing you may know about me from the live videos is that I do smoke and I occasionally enjoy cocktails. This has been a part of my spiritual practice for a long time. It's very knit into the kind of workings that I do. So without further ado, I'm going to continue until you want to start discussing, maybe asking some questions in the chat. I'm going to continue reading from my fairy tale book. Hi everybody, welcome. I am taking questions tonight. I'm taking questions for the tarot deck. Any questions you're open to asking. I do have a general rule of ethics as a psychic and tarot reader. I am willing to ask questions on health, for example, but when it comes to other people, I'm really here to advise you best about how to navigate your life. So one key thing is if you have a question about somebody else's life, the best I will be able to do is really answer how your engagement with that person may look. But yes, absolutely, feel free to ask any questions you may have. Hello everybody, welcome. Really, really excited to have you all join tonight. If you want further questions about psychic ethics or any kind of ethics regarding psychic readers, there's a great blog post I have on my website. So if you go under blog, the first post is actually how to distinguish a real psychic from a fake. And that generally goes over things you should be aware of when you call a psychic. I mean, it can help with what questions to ask, certainly, but it'll also help you sort out who may be just kind of pulling your leg and not really answering your questions. It's a great tool, and it definitely speaks to where I stand ethically with answering any questions regarding psychic mediumship. So we have a question. I see here, Champagne Sea. You are asking about your ex-angel and if he plans to return to you soon. Absolutely, I will pull a card for you on that topic. So let me just connect to the deck, see what kind of question or what kind of answer we can get here tonight. Angel. Is Angel going to be returning? So I did pull a card for you, and the card that I pulled for you is the Two of Wands. It's a really, really good card to have as far as a relationship. You know, two is a coupling of two forces. So it speaks to the relationship that you have. Right now, I would say that you need to spend time focusing on your goals, your greater goals as a person, and what will lead you to life's fulfillment. You really need to look at what is your purpose to seeking this relationship with this other person. If they have left and you want to be open to them coming back, what kind of energy do you have to put out into the ether in order to attract that? At this time, I don't see him coming back very soon. I think there's just a lot of discord in the energy happening. And it's also the universe kind of giving you time to step back from that relationship and do a lot of self-care and self-love to help you adjust and get back on balance. Sometimes it doesn't matter what relationship we're in, and people will tell you about their marriage. It has its ups and downs. There's all these kind of navigation planes that we have to deal with in a relationship. And right now you're in a phase of self-introspection, taking a look at the bigger picture, and really deciding what your course forward is going to be. Once you have that strength within you and that comprehension of what you want it to look like, especially in this relationship, what you want it to look like when he comes back, that leaves you open and opens the door for him to actually come back. I don't see this happening soon. I do think his energy is not in harmony with yours at this time. The potential for him coming back in the future does feel quite slim as well. But 2 months down the line, you will see a little bit more clearly. He will be in contact with you, and you'll be able to see where you stand in against him, not against him, but in parallel to him. You'll have a little bit firmer ground under you to start dealing with that. You're so welcome. Okay, more questions. Let me scroll up. Just be patient with me while I make sure I get to everyone. So Champagne, you had the first question, and I see positive for life. You have a question here. Okay, so you're wondering about your new partner, new relationship that you're going to be getting into. If it's somebody that's already kind of in your awareness and purview. Yeah, just 1 moment while I kind of tap into my deck. Positive for life. Is your partner around you now? Okay. So, the card that I pulled for you is the Six of Cups. And I see that you have a really nice, strong energy for attracting other people around you at this time. You do have some memories from the past that are kind of holding you back. Be kind to yourself during this time. It does look like they're around you. I do see that they're... Okay. They're in kind of an outer circle right now. They're a little bit distant from you. And I think what will happen in order to let them come back into you is getting some closure from some previous experiences. I don't know if it's energetic or they're actually aware of closure that needs to happen, but I feel like they'll kind of keep their distance until you really allow yourself to be completely open to the new relationship. Again, I'm not quite sure what closure is for you at this time either, but there's still some nostalgia and idolization of the past that this person isn't going to play into. So they're a new experience for you, which is really great and really exciting for you to attract. But in order for them to be fully seen by you, you're going to have to kind of let go of those previous conceptions. One way to do this is kind of journal and chunk it out and take a look at what were my previous things that weren't working for me, and in the future, how are the new boundaries, patterns, and behaviors that I set in my life going to attract or even support who I am as a person. And that a lot of times gives us closure because we're able to identify what was previously something that led us off our path or didn't bring us a full sense of fulfillment, and how we're going to adjust that frame of view into the future. All right, let me know if that helps. This is a new person. I feel like they're in the circle of, they're kind of distant friends, so whether they're an acquaintance of a friend of yours or associated with somebody who's closer to you, they're removed a couple distances. A lot of times when people ask me if it's somebody I know, I kind of see a person as a person, and then all these planets or kind of rings of distance around them. And when I feel this for you, I feel like they're kind of on the sixth rung. So it means you have your close, like immediate blood relations, and then you have really, really long-term friends, and then you have friends that have come and gone through phases, and then you have friends who are more acquaintances and friends of acquaintances, or people who are in kind of that further reaching circle. So you may have met this person before. They definitely are aware of you, but there's still this distance that's being created because you need to resolve and close what you're coming out of, what the previous relationship was, what that was established. All right, does that make sense? You're so welcome. Absolutely tune in anytime if you have more questions. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up here and take a look if we have any more questions. So, Sierra, may I know who my ex truly is? He's a Gemini named David. You're a Libra. Is there something left unanswered? So you're asking about your ex. I'm not sure if I entirely understand your question, but the way I interpret it is that there may have been a bit of a falling out, and you're wondering if there was some closure, some things that were left unanswered between the two of you that affected this change in your relationship. Is that correct? Oh, and I see that you're having dreams of him. That's interesting too. All right, absolutely, I'm able to take a look. I will say about dreams can be kind of interesting because sometimes it's our mind fixating or being overly aware of a situation because we don't have closure. And then sometimes a dream can actually be people astrally traveling. And a lot of the times the confirmation of astral travel is this person will, even if they haven't talked to you in a really long time, in some way reach out to you and be like, hey, that was a powerful dream last night. Or at least that's experiences I've had a lot of times with clients. But if you have been dreaming of him frequently, it definitely means there's some energy in the air. Okay, so I really do think it's the latter in regards to you. I'm picking up that you're dealing with a lot of stress right now in life. There's a lot of others kind of like overburdened with responsibilities right now. And when we have a lot of stress, it can trigger us to reconnect to previous traumas or previous stressful situations in our dreams. If this is something that is coming up in your dreams, I would take a look at what kind of closure you need on it. I don't think that reaching out to him, you will necessarily get that closure. I think that it's something definitely within your subconscious and conscious mind that you have to identify and then resolve. It's kind of a two-part process. Identifying what is causing your stress or what may need closure. Take a look at where your emotions stand. So if you have anger or guilt or disappointment, those are really good clues to look at what was the issue there. Those are the triggering emotions that let us know something is off. So once you identify those, then you have to look at what process you can take for closure. I'm really big on forgiveness processes. I think that when we forgive both ourselves and forgive another person, it allows us to move forward knowing that that behavior doesn't have to be a part of the present anymore. You move forward informed by the knowledge that you have, not pulling it behind you and restrained by that information. So again, I don't see this as something you'll gain closure with him. I really think you need to sit down and look at what are the things that cause you stress. But again, if you're very busy and stressed out already right now, don't push this process too hard. Take it easy. Have patience with yourself. Forgive yourself. Do self-care and self-love things like baths. And once you kind of gain a little bit of stability or a sense of self, you feel more in your body and okay with yourself, then you can look at those forgiveness processes and unpack some of those darker emotions. Time can be your friend and can be your enemy sometimes, because if you let it go on too long, then it starts sinking into the subconscious and can be harder to break apart. But if it's not a right time for you as well, don't feel pressured to jump into heavy cleansing if it's too hard. Always too, you can ask for help. I don't know if you have any Reiki masters or energy clearing, aura treating people in your immediate area. I always advise doing that kind of stuff in person as opposed to over the internet, because I do find Reiki masters to be quite powerful, and treatment's always done in person. So look to alternative forms of healing to make sure you're stable within yourself, and then start unpacking those stressful situations. All right. Let me know if that helps. If you need a bit more information, I'm always happy to share that too. So yes, we're here live. Welcome to the Psychic Lumina live YouTube channel. Tonight is my first night here live on YouTube. I'm taking questions in the chat box, so feel free to tune in and let me know. Sierra, I'm so glad that helps. Please always feel free to reach out if you need more help. Let me see if anybody else has some questions here. So Sierra, you asked your question. I see here Missy. Miss K, Miss K, if there is any message you need to know. So let me tune into the tarot deck here real quick and see if there are any messages that you need to know from your guides. Of course, I find guides always have some message for us, even if it's words of encouragement to just keep going. Right. One moment here. Okay, indeed, your guides have a message for you. So the card I pulled for you is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups can be a little bit of a challenging card. It does mean that you have a lot of opportunities around you and you're being distracted at the moment by external forces. Sometimes this can mean just having a little bit of a switch towards seeing the glass half full as opposed to the glass half empty. Mind your mind and make sure that you tune into more optimistic thoughts than pessimistic. Again, this just opens you up to actually seeing those opportunities that reside around you, whereas pessimistic, we kind of close ourselves off to seeing a lot of those things. And I mean, not even just seeing right in front of you, but literally the energy will make them just slip like mercury through the cracks. So, you know, maybe take a look too if you feel like you are a little bit down or a little bit more pessimistic about the world around you. Kind of walk that back and see what may have happened or what could be kind of causing that mindset for you. A lot of the times it's things outside of us or experiences that we've gone through that just remain stagnant. I'm here in Michigan, and this time of year people get really tired of winter, really tired of gray skies, and it can have a really dark effect on our community and the people who live here. So it's really important to do the things that help you keep an optimistic point of view. Yeah, you know, this card can also speak to overlooking an opportunity, but I really do feel like with you that overlooking is a little bit more because you're in shade a little bit more than in sunlight. So keep a bright heart. Don't be afraid to do those things that help you enjoy life, if that makes sense. I feel like we're more optimistic when we take time to enjoy the things we like. You know, I've had a couple people, my siblings specifically, but also some clients recently, talk about the lack of opportunities around them. And when I mention doing the things that they want to enjoy, they don't feel like they deserve to do those things. So again, all of these, it feeds in with each other, but make sure you know you deserve to do the things that help you enjoy and feel satisfied by life, even if it's very small or very personally you. These things will help you to have that optimistic outlook and keep opportunities flowing towards you. All right, so I hope that helps. Let me see here. So yeah, anyone that is here with me today, feel free to answer a question. The list is literally the live chat. When you ask a question, I just go back through after I'm done pulling a card and find the next question and give you guys an answer. So Miss K, if you're still around, that reading was just for you. Star Travels, if you're still around, feel free to ask a question. Yay, Miss K, I'm so glad it resonated. Again, have fun doing the things you love to do, and winter will be over soon. It'll be spring and summer. There'll be a lot more to look forward to. And Heat Journey, yes, absolutely. Feel free to ask a question. Everybody's welcome here. Like I said at the beginning of the live video, I do smoke, and I've been putting off my cigarette, so here I'm going to start right now. If you're tuning in, please feel free to ask a question. All right. Earlier in the chat, I see 5 people are watching now. But earlier in the chat, I did begin a fairy tale, which is what I plan on reading right now today, since this is a free-form video. I thought I'd read one of my favorite fairy tales while I wait for people to ask questions. So, sorry, Heat Journey, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Heat Journey wants to ask about her ex and how he's feeling about you. You guys are talking right now. Let me take a look at the cards here. All right, Heat Journey. Ex. Interesting. So the card I pulled for you is the Knight of Swords. And Regarding your ex, I think he sees this as a really, really cool new opportunity. I don't think he has any expectations that are going to cloud it, but I think it's good to have really firm plans about what you want to do if you do engage with him. It's a really good opportunity to reconnect with him actually right now. But if you really rush it, or if you run back into it with the same pattern as before, it's going to disintegrate and fall apart and leave you with some regrets. So take some time to kind of think about your mind, body, spirit, where you are when you engage with this. What are your plans? Should you stay together? Or what are your plans should something come up and you're triggered in a way again that makes you aware that you maybe don't want to be there? Again, both things could happen. You could want to get back together, you could not. There's the world of possibilities really open to you at this moment, but it depends on you being clear about your plans going into it. I think the work that you've done independently has helped establish a really good grounding point for you, and that's what led to the interaction coming back. Keep moving forward with that. Don't get overly excited just because you are talking again, which sometimes can be the case because you're happy to have resolution, especially with somebody you love. But it is a good opportunity for you to reconnect with him. He does care about you. He does see this as a very open phase. But the more you have a paced approach to it and set your boundaries and have clear plans, the better experience you will have ultimately, and feel very happy with how it resolves. So does that help, or do you have any further questions on that one? And I went out because I talk a lot. All right, Hey Journey, you just chime back in anytime if there was more you wanted to know about that. Again, really open time for possibilities. That's awesome that you got to that point and did that work in order to have that arise. So here's your card, just so you see the image on it. It's really, really powerful card. All right. Anybody else who wants to chime in, feel free. I am going to return to Pat Diver's ordeal. So Pat Diver, the tinkerer, was a man well accustomed to a wandering life and to strange shelters. He had shared the beggar's blanket in smoky cabins. He had crouched beside the still in many a nook and corner where poteen was made on the wild Inishua mountains. He had ever slept upon the bare heather or in the ditch, with no roof over him but the vault of heaven. Yet were all his nights of adventure tame and commonplace when compared with one especial night. During the day preceding that night, he had mended all the kettles and saucepans in Mobile and Greencastle, and was on his way to Culdaff when night overtook him on a lonely mountain road. He knocked at one door after another, asking for a night's lodging, while he jingled the halfpence in his waistcoat pocket, but was everywhere refused. Where was the boasted hospitality of Inishua, which he had never before known to fail? It was of no use to be able to pay when people seemed so churlish. Thus, thinking, he made his way towards the light a little further on and knocked at another cabin door. An old man and woman were seated at one end of the fire. "Will you be pleased to give me a night's lodging, sir?" asked Pat respectfully. "Can you tell a story?" returned the old man. "No, then, sir, I can say I am good at No, there, sir, I can say I'm good at storytelling," replied the puzzled tinker. "Then you mun just gang further, for none but them can tell a story will get in here." This reply was made so decidedly a tone that Pat did not attempt to repeat his appeal, but turned away reluctantly to resume his weary journey. "A story indeed," muttered he. "Auld wives' fables to please the weans." As he took up his bundle of tinkering implements, he observed a barn standing rather behind the dwelling house, and, abide by the rising moon, he made his way towards it. It was a clean, roomy barn, with piled-up heaps of straw in one corner. Here was a shelter not to be despised, so Pat crept under the straw and soon fell asleep. He could not have slept very long when he was awakened by the trample of feet and peeped cautiously through the crevice of his new straw covering. He saw 4 immensely tall men enter the barn, dragging a body which they threw roughly upon the floor. They next lighted a fire in the middle of the barn and fastened the corpse by the feet with a great rope to a beam on the roof. One of them then began to turn it slowly before the fire. "Come on," said he, addressing the gigantic fellow, the tallest of the 4. "I'm tired. You be taking your turn." "Fixin' a troth, I'll no turn him," replied the big man. "There's Pat Diver under the straw. Why wouldn't he take his turn?" With hideous clamor, the 4 men called the wretched Pat, who, seeing there was no escape, thought it was his wisest plan to come forth as he was hidden. "Now, Pat," said they, "you'll turn the corpse, but if you let him burn, you'll be tied up there and roasted in his place." Pat's hair stood on end, and the cold perspiration poured from his forehead. But there was nothing for it to be performed his dreadful task. Seeing him fairly embark in it, the tall men went away. Soon, however, the flame rose so high as to singe the rope, and the corpse fell with a great thud upon the fire, scattering the ashes and embers, and extracting a howl of anguish from the miserable cook, who rushed to the door and ran for his life. He ran on until he was ready to drop with fatigue, when seeing the drain overgrown with tall rank grass, he thought he would creep in there and lie hidden till morning. But he had not been many a minute in the drain before he heard the heavy trampling again, and the 4 men came up with their burden and laid down on the edge of the drain. "I'm tired," said one to the giant. "It's your turn to carry him a pace now." "Fixin' a troth, I no carry him," replied he. "But there's Pat Diver in the drain. Why wouldn't he come out and take his turn?" "Come out, Pat, come out," roared the men. And Pat, almost dead with fatigue, crept out. He staggered on under the weight of the corpse until he reached Kilton Abbey, a ruin festooned with ivy, where the brown-hooded owl hooted all night long. And the forgotten dead slept around the walls under the dense, matted tangles of bramble and benweed. No one ever buried there now, but Pat's tall companions turned in the wild graveyard and began to dig a grave. Pat, seeing them thus engaged, thought he might once more try to escape and climbed up into a hawthorn tree in the fence, hoping to be hidden by the burrows. "I'm tired," said the man who was digging the grave. "Here, take the spade," addressing the man. "It's your turn." Miss K, of course you may ask another question. I'm almost at the end of the story. "Fixin' a troth, it's no my turn," replied he, as before. "There's Pat Diver in the tree. Why wouldn't he come down and take his turn?" Pat came down to take the spade, but just then the cocks in the little farmyard and cabins round the abbey began to crow, and the men looked at one another. "We must go," said they, "and well is it for you, Pat Diver, that the cocks crowed, for if they had not, you just had been bundled into the grave with the corpse." 2 months passed, and Pat had wandered far and wide over the county of Donegal, when he chanced to arrive at Roughwoon during a fair. Among the crowd that filled the diamond, he came suddenly upon the big man. "How are you, Pat Diver?" said he, bending down to look in the tinkerer's face. "You've the advantage of me, sir, for I haven't the pleasure of knowing you," faltered Pat. "Do you know me, Pat?" whispered Pat. "Whisper when you go back to Inishawan. You'll have a story to tell." So I really, really love that little story because I believe that it speaks to courage in face of terror. And a lot of times we get into situations where they're unexpected or life unraveled in ways that we weren't anticipating, and now we have this experience that is uncomfortable to deal with or uncomfortable to navigate out of. And with great courage, we find our way through to the other side of darker situations. Sometimes it may seem our life is in peril. Sometimes it may seem that We may not find the next place to sleep. We may not see the path forward. Where in this town of hospitality that we've known of is there no hospitality? But indeed, these experiences make us deeper people, give us the knowledge and wisdom to move forward, and allow us to share that wisdom with the people around us. So, it's to say that hard experiences are not pleasant to deal with and take a lot of work and courage to get through. But in the end, there is the story and the honor that comes with having worked through a difficult moment. Again, whether it's big or small, there's always a way forward to the next phase of life and to find the light and to find the beauty that you seek. So, all right, back into the comments here. I want to see Miss K ask if she could ask another question. And you're wondering if your child's father regrets losing you. So let's take a look at the cards and see what your guides have to say about that situation. I'm sorry about that situation too. It can be hard to deal with. All right. Miss K. Miss K. Miss K. Okay, interesting card to come up for you. So in my tarot deck, I have at the end of the major arcana, the Akashic records. And this card really represents your whole life story. It means the connection you have with this person and the reason they're in your life is for a reason. You were always meant to meet them. You were always meant to have this journey and this karmatic story together. So he feels for you in the way that you are a deep connection in his life. That means when he's upset with you, it resonates with him very much. When he loves you, it resonates with him very much because your souls have this lifelong connection. If you believe in reincarnation, it means that you may have known each other in previous lifetimes. You have this balance of souls and this journey that has happened over time. Maybe your child has known you in another way as well. So yes, he cares very deeply for you. You will always be a part of his life forever, and you are always meant to be a part of his life. So feel confident in who you are. Feel confident in the story that you've created. And even if the story you have with this other person means that it was a brief interaction or that the story didn't turn out or the longevity of it didn't turn out in the way you thought, those lessons were presented in your life for a reason. And you will absolutely grow from having known this person and for having gone through these experiences. They will only benefit your life, good and bad. So have courage in accepting that and feel empowered by the decisions you've made and the decisions you'll make going forward. You were meant to know this person for a reason. They were meant to know you for a reason. As dark as it may be, this is a soul that you were meant to share this journey with. So you can feel confident in knowing that no matter what happens into the future, what happened is okay, and the choices you make moving forward are also okay. Just need to be strong and honor yourself within all of that. All right? Ms. K, let me know if that answers your question or if that helps. That's a really powerful card to get for a relationship, especially after what you've described. Just want to give you a little show. This is the Akashic record, right? So, other questions? Muppet, I see you've joined our chat. Welcome. You're wondering about your raise at work, so let's take a little look at that. One moment while I pull a card. Muppet's looking at their raise at work. Muppet's looking at their raise at work. Okay. Definitely a card that comes from, sorry, I just had somebody at the window. So the card that I pulled for you is the Five of Crystals. This crystals in my tarot deck regard Pentacles, which is all about material, life, finances, everything that has to do with the hard matter of life in the world. So, yes, I see that you will be getting a raise, but you are in a tough spot right now. everything's not lost. I kind of have a feeling that this is not the raise that you will get, that there will be a different opportunity that comes along that will be more beneficial for you. Trying to sense if it's the same company or a different one. I feel more so that to get the proper raise that you're looking for, there's going to have to be an exit and a transition into another position. It's really kind of a dark time for you right now, and I know that's hard to deal with, but there's really light at the end of the tunnel here. Bright days are very near ahead. So you really are passing from one phase into the next. How soon? Like soon, like in the next 2 weeks, you will find out about this. And how much? How much will be, 2 is the number that's coming up for me, so I'm not sure if that's double what you're making now or 20% increase into what you're making at the moment, but 2 will be a significant number within that. All right. Heart Journey, the last reading that I gave was for Miss K, the one that I was talking about the Akashic Records. Okay, yep, Miss K commented. And Miss K, I see your comment. Know that you never have to let go of this. Even if you don't see that person again in your lifetime, they are very much a part of the energy and the story that you've created. So it's hard in relationships, especially when you don't have somebody around anymore and you miss them. Really, the best thing you can do is put loving energy towards that and be grateful for the experiences you had, and know that more of them will come to you in life. Your life should be an endless story unfolding of these moments that you look back on with admiration and love. So again, the more you can know that even if that person's not in your life, that they are present always in a positive effect in your life because of the influence they had and that influence moving forward. I wanted to say, Muppet, did that reading resonate with you? I know it was a bit displaced, but that's just, I feel like, again, because you're going through kind of a dark circle right now and the light is very near the end of the tunnel. I just want to make sure you got what you needed out of that reading. I do want to let you guys know it's 10:41 now, so I'm probably going to end looking at ending this live session at 10:50 p.m., another 9 minutes. Had a little bit of technical difficulty getting up and running, but everything's good to go now. So looking at doing weekly tarot readings here live on YouTube every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Thank you everybody for coming and joining tonight. It's really, really awesome to do a free-form tarot reading online, let you guys get an impression of me, my style, how I do readings, and definitely connect to me in the future should you ever need more help. Alrighty, again, wrapping up pretty soon. Update on Psychic Lumina and some of the things that are going to be coming out in the upcoming week. I'm looking at releasing YouTube videos weekly, bi-weekly if I do get a little bit behind. The next video that I will be doing is about how to draw a partner to you. So if you've been looking for a significant other, a partner out in the world, and you're having a hard time meeting them, a lot of times I have clients who say, oh, I just keep on meeting people who I really like who are already in relationships, or coming up against roadblocks and finding that significant other. I have a great process for finding that person that you're looking for. Something that's worked for me eerily well over the years. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, be careful what you wish for because it works eerily accurately. And several times I've done this process and then shown the process to the person I met and had them quite weirded out by the fact that I could so accurately draw them in. And again, it has to do with that person was also kind of looking for me. So really powerful process. All it takes is a pen and paper, so it's pretty easy to do, but has some intricacies and intentions that are really, really important within it. So that's the next YouTube video I'm going to do. It's all about drawing to you a person, a romantic person of relationship that you want to find, especially when you have a hard time. Heat journey, yeah, absolutely. I know that you did ask a question earlier on about your apps and talking. So I did answer that. This live video will be posted on my YouTube channel, and you can always go back and scroll in there and find your answer. I kind of checked in with you right after I did your reading to see if you had it, but you're just chiming back in now. I'm sorry that maybe you had missed it in the live feed. All right. Okay, awesome. You can rewind now. Very cool. Miss K, so happy to help you again. Anybody else who has questions this evening, feel free to chime in. We're in the last 5 minutes or so of the live video. It's been a pleasure sitting here and chatting with everyone. I really, really enjoy this live channel and the YouTube, whole YouTube video channel that I've put together. Yeah, no problem, Heat Journey. Again, once we get more of these free-form live chats going, hopefully it can be a little bit quicker, easier for you to get your reading in right away. Absolutely positive for life. We have about 5 minutes left, so feel free to ask a question that you have. All right, Maria chimed in with a question, so let me get to that first. Okay, so Maria, one thing I will give a disclaimer. I'm happy to do a health reading for you, but I must let you know that this is purely for entertainment purposes only. I can do a psychic reading on that. There are a lot of psychics who don't do pregnancy readings just because it can be a very difficult time, and there's a lot involved in it. So I will pull a card for you, but again, I just want to maintain that if you're having problems, you really do need to seek professional help. And okay, you understand. Great. And I'm sure you understand why I have to give my little disclaimer. So without further ado, let's pull a card on your pregnancy and see what's going on. Okay, the card I pulled is the Wheel of Fortune. It's the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So there is some bad luck going into this, and it's definitely out of your hands at this point. There's not a lot you can do to change what's going to happen. Right. The best thing you can do is a healthy frame of mind, no matter what the outcome is. So, again, this means that kind of do some risk assessment. You know, when you have bad luck and things are not going your way, it's good to, you know, take a little time to assess your frame of mind and look at where you can be psychologically should things turn out a certain way. So you have to protect yourself and your mind and your well-being. Again, these circumstances are outside of you. What may occur is, you know, the universe giving you an experience and life information that you were meant to receive, and it may be difficult, but this time is challenging you to find a healthy state within yourself, ground yourself, and accept the outcome that the universe is going to present you with. It can be really hard to let go and release that and know that things are out of our hands. You know, sometimes in life they're not, and we can take control of the situation. But in this case, it is beyond you. It is the contract that your child that you're carrying, his soul, has with the universe and the world. And how that's going to play out is going to be about that experience. You need to ground yourself within that and have a healthy frame of mind that regardless of what's going to happen here, you will come out the other side. You will be a stronger person for it. And how can you get to a frame of mind that allows you to process what happens? All right, I hope that helps you. Okay, Heat Journey, I'm really glad you found it in the video. And positive for life. I know, Maria, those times in life are so hard when it's out of your hands. I wish you all the best with that. And again, really take the time you need to find a healthy perspective you need on it. So I'm going to actually advise therapy. I know that pregnancy can be very difficult. My mom had very difficult pregnancies, and she did not get the psychological care she needed after those experiences. And it definitely affected the way she parented, which is fine. We all grow, we all learn. But the more you can get on top of that and make sure you have people supporting you and helping you weed out what is and isn't in your control and what is and isn't your responsibility to bear a burden for, it'll help you feel a lot better about life and all situations that arise from this one. Okay, so going into positive for life. Okay. You are wondering if your tuition can be covered by a grant or scholarship money. Let me pull a card on this. Positive for life, funding for school tuition in scholarship or grant money. Will this come to fruition? Great. The card I pulled for you is the Five of Swords. So I do not believe so. I do not believe that the grant will not come through. And I think it's because you kind of jumped the gun a little bit too quickly on these. There was a little bit more planning and I feel like a little bit more honesty or clarification on your passion needed to be put in there. And that's what's going to set it back and kind of put it lower in the pile and not let it come all the way through. But because you are going to school, when you do get to school, when you do take a look at where the fundings come from, have your priorities straight. Really know what it is that you're going after. Look at the big picture, not just what you're going to school for, but what you're going to start accomplishing the moment you get out of school. Because that'll be really, really important for having people support you financially. A lot of this has to do with thought. So it's not about your emotions. It's not about whether or not the material is around you and available to you. It's really about how clearly you allow other people to see what your path is. When they don't see that path really clearly, it's really hard to have them help hold you up. So the more you can really build a picture for them and flesh out what the long-term goals are, the easier it'll be for you to get backing. I think school will come forward with a little bit of support, but it won't be all that you need. It won't be full tuition coverage. I do see school as a key opportunity for you. I feel like that's not going away. But you'll be able to pick up more support, more momentum, and more funding when you're really clear about this is what I'm doing. It just puts you at the top of the pile. All right, I hope that helps. Oh, and if it's for your master's, even more so, people really, really want to have that that strong, clear message about drive and where you're going with it, where you're going to run with it after you get out. Be methodical with your plans. The more you can plan really, really clearly and present that, the more you feel really secure about it within yourself, the easier it'll be for people to see it and support you. Think about how your words and actions can transform this for you too, because you may be interested in looking at neuro-linguistic programming. That's what it is, NLP. So it's when you meet somebody who's a great salesperson, like somebody who can sell you something you don't even need, you just become very like you want it because of the way they sell it to you. That's more on the level you need to kind of research and study. It's how you activate words to convince people that you know what you're doing, right? NLP, there's a lot of information out there on it. It's really kind of something hard to tap into because it's such a obscure topic, or really hard to like explain perfectly. But again, if you start nitpicking or going in and kind of picking apart what is neurolinguistic programming, how do you use some of these tools to help people see what it is you want to do, where your goals are, that'll definitely get you off the ground. All right? Great. Okay, everybody, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. You're so welcome, Positive for Life. Definitely be in touch in the future. Let me know if you need any more help. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. It was really, really great to chat with all of you. Thank you for all the questions. I hope I helped clear up some things for you. I hope the next weeks, months ahead are easy for you, that you can use the information that you got tonight to navigate. Life is a bag of interesting things, so I wish all of you the best of luck. Be in touch. Definitely tune in each week on Thursdays. I'm going to be doing free tarot readings for everybody here on my YouTube channel. I look forward to talking to all of you again in the future. And until I see you, have a great night. Now I have to figure out how to turn the YouTube video off. Okay, here we go. Cool. Thank you guys so much for joining. And again, have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.